Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Intel Extreme Masters San Jose qualifiers. Apologies for a little bit of a wait, but we were basically waiting for the Winnies semis to get going here during this qualifier. And actually, that means we will already find out one of the people moving through. There's going to be 3 spots going on to the actual tournament itself from this qualifier. And overall, it's a pretty good lineup of players here.
It really is, and we have a really awesome TVZ coming up in front of us. We have viOLet playing MajOr, 2 guys who are pretty much mainstays in the North American scene. viOLet, of course, one of the 2 American Koreans, so to speak, on a sports visa. He went through Henderlisk, and MajOr was able to go through Moose Skills and Puck. So MajOr already with a bit of TVZ behind him today, 2-0ing Moose Skills. viOLet, bit of a stronger beast, though, I'd say.
Yeah, viOLet is the guy that he was trying to rival Pulp basically for the American champion in the previous qualifiers that we had for the Intel Extreme Masters San Jose. Overall, the American region as a whole, if you include America and then all the other continents that's there, which is 1 extra, they get 4 spots, basically. 4 spots. In the upper bracket, the winner semi means that if you win this best of 5, you move on to the Intel Extreme Masters San Jose. But then there's 2 spots from the winners bracket, and then down in the lower, there is 1 more spot left for you out of this great lineup of players. So, I mean, there's people like Scarlet in there, people like Hook in there, still battling it out. There was a few buys earlier on in the tournament because of a few no-shows. But aside from that, going to be good games.
And the 3 qualification people of today are going to go on to join the already qualified players, which is going to be Rain and Hero, CJ Hero, qualifying from Korea.
Yeah.
Rain is still trying to decide whether or not he'll play Hot 6 Cup or IEM, I believe. Then, of course, Pult, as you mentioned.
Guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
And, of course, 4GG also qualified from Europe. Vortex did too, but he has said he won't be playing.
Oh, well. So, anyway, we're going to get into our first best of 5 here for the night. It's going to be King Sage on station to open things up between MajOr and viOLet. And I think overall, regardless of who actually gets a spot out of these 2, I'm pretty happy. Both of them can represent the region very nicely.
And the loser of this will go into the loser bracket, and whoever loses this definitely has a great shot at getting that 3rd qualification spot as well.
All right, well, let's get into the game then, as we have King Sage on station, our first map, and spawning up to the, well, down to the bottom right-hand corner, it is our red Zerg, it is viOLet, and then up to the top left, it's our blue Terran, it is MajOr, who I haven't cast for what seems like forever, but here we are, and here we go.
Yeah, and he's representing Root Gaming once again for the 4th time in his career. He seems to like going back there every now and then. You can't stay away from cats.
It's like a vacation. Every so often he's just like, well, I guess I'll go back. It's fine.
Yeah. He's actually been on Root for a while now. I think it's up to like 3 months this time now. So
oh, wow.
It's a bit of a long-term relationship this time around.
I guess so. I guess so. But anyway, for now, obviously, viOLet, we all know this guy as someone who actually disappeared for quite a while, let's be honest. Unfortunately for him, he had some troubles, but all of that was resolved quite a bit ago, and now he's been playing as strongly as ever. So, I think he got pretty far in the last WCS America season, right? Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes, he did come top 12. It was WCS Season 2, he got top 8. He finished 9th to 12th in Season 3, but he also had some really strong showings. The top 8 finish at IEM Toronto, and then 3 top 4s, coming 3rd in MLG Anaheim, and top 4 in both Red Bull, Detroit, and Atlanta.
Yeah, that's pretty sick. That's a pretty sick resume because overall, the majority of those tournaments were pretty stacked.
Oh, yeah.
WCS America, obviously, being basically Little Korea, but then when you go up against people like Tasia and Bomber and Pult and those guys, it gets a little bit tricky. So, anyway, for now, as you can see from our openers here, Mr. viOLet actually going for his spawning pool into hatchery. So, playing a little bit more cautiously against MajOr here to start things off, but I haven't really seen MajOr do too much trickery and cheesiness too much recently.
This is going to be kind of cute. We have 6 slings on the way here for viOLet. Most likely, he'll keep 4 at home to defend and then send 2 around, trying to run around the Reaper as it comes, staying out of vision, and trying to pick up the SCV, building the command center, which is going to get him an SCV kill, obviously, and it'll also delay the actual command center itself by a solid 20-30 seconds. So we'll see if he actually opts to send all 6 or just 2. All 6 will be spotted here by this SCV scout, though, so MajOr knows what's coming here, and after seeing that, he should be keeping his Reaper at home, but looks like he is going to send it around, maybe to kite these Lings around as well, but viOLet splitting them up. So with that Reaper leaving the base, it's going to be a bit of an issue. There's no second Reaper coming on out. Oh, but he is putting the CC on the high ground. So very smart play by MajOr here.
Yeah, exactly. And obviously, viOLet was able to spot all that with the Overlord, so he's okay himself. He kind of understands that he really won't be able to get too much done at the front because there is that supply depot going down. But at least he can poke around and be a little bit annoying because it was Reaper straight into Reactor. So do a little bit of damage. And, ooh, that SCV doesn't want to be getting taken down too quickly.
If you were to get that SCV, that would almost be nice, but won't happen with the Reaper coming on back. Overall, this is really, really nice here for MajOr. He gets himself into a bit of a minor lead, but he does lose the SCV in the end. Really, that's kind of one of the goals of that initial poke anyway. You want to kill the SCV that's building the CC. So he doesn't delay the CC at all, but he does get an SCV kill, which is going to be a little bit nice for viOLet. And even though I would put MajOr with a slight edge after that, it's still very, very even game from here, and we have additional queens coming out here for viOLet, going up to a third queen so that he can start his creep spread. And for now, just drones, drones, drones.
It was funny, actually, overall, how that worked out, because he got a delay on the factory because he wanted to pull the SCV off to keep back on the supply depot to make sure that it wasn't going to get broken down. So, if anything, a little bit of the aggression that could come from MajOr is kind of slowed down here by all of this, and viOLet's still sitting around with those Lings up to the top, so he's going to try and do something else, but there's too many Marines there. I don't think he can do too much.
Yeah, this is also really unfortunate for viOLet, and I've also kind of noticed more and more people doing this recently, where the Terrans will actually opt to lift the barracks to be able to pick off the high ground Overlords, and that's going to supply block viOLet quite a bit here. He gets his next Overlord, but that only really frees up about 4 supply, and now he's supply blocked again for the next 10 seconds. So that's a really, really nice little win there for MajOr as he's able to get that kill. And following this up with a starport, looks like he's going to be landing the barracks next to it, probably for Tech Lab. Although it is also very possible for him to be going into a medevac here.
Yeah, medevac would be cool. I would like to see a medevac. I'm wondering if it is, because there is a slower level of this, he's actually going to go for the Tech Lab straight on the starport. So there is a potential for that Banshee, as you were mentioning before. But here comes the poke out for MajOr, trying to have a little look around. The Spine Queller finished up just in the nick of time during all of that, though. So
viOLet is playing so safe. He's got a Spine coming up in the main. It feels like he's a little bit scared of the Marine drop with the medevac that you kind of mentioned before, even though that's not coming, because usually what you'll do is you'll run the Hellions into the natural while you drop the Marines in the main, so the Spine really helps to deal with that, but that's a very expensive investment this early on, so it's also kind of viOLet saying, I'm willing to take this little bit of a setback because I think I'm the better player. I think that I can overcome this little tiny economic loss and get back into it perfectly fine. And with the double evos coming in, he is going to be getting a nice little jump over MajOr in the upgrades, as we don't really have a single engineering bay anywhere to be seen just yet on the Terran side of the map.
It's overall quite an interesting thought that you bring up, though, because you're saying, viOLet, in essence, can probably feel comfortable thinking that he's the better player, but a lot of, MajOr is one of those guys that has stood in the American scene as one of the very best for a long, long time. So in this best of 5, I'm expecting a lot of fireworks. I think that MajOr can stand with viOLet. It remains to be seen, though, whether he can take a whole series off viOLet, as he is putting on a little bit of pressure at the front. Noticeably, though, during all of this, with his engineering bay timings, he didn't quite have the opportunity to add on the armory as quick as he would have liked to have maybe a cool Hellbat push, or an earlier Hellbat push. So if that were to come, and retaining these Hellions, it would be quite a bit later.
I want to point out something really cool that viOLet was doing. First of all, he was going to be forcing this Banshee away. Only 2 kills on there, so nicely done by viOLet. Another really cool thing that viOLet was doing with those creep spreading queens is that he was spreading creep with them, but he was always making sure that he had exactly 50-ish energy on both of them, just in case he needed to drop a transfuse. He didn't want these Hellions being able to pick them off. And now with these Roaches moving across the map, this 1-1 Roach timing that he could be going for could be very strong. He's already picked off 1 Hellion. Although I feel like with the 3rd hatchery coming up, some players will commit to a lot of Roaches, about 30 Roaches by the 10-minute mark. I don't think we're going to see that out of viOLet because he knows there's a Banshee on the field, and that really can help quite a bit in holding this off.
Yeah, showing that as well at that particular time. There is a Marauder actually mixed in. Not too many, though, obviously. Even a Siege Tank being added into the mix as well for MajOr. And I kind of liked what viOLet was doing. I mean, of course, this 1-1 timing can be very, very strong. The second evolution chamber was hidden during all of this. It kind of looked just like a normal wall at the front, but in the end here, for MajOr, he should be okay against it, with especially a Siege Tank if it's in the right position.
Yeah, so this is going to be just 19 Roaches, which is a fairly large number, but it's not as heavily committed as we will sometimes see from people. And it looks to me like we could be seeing viOLet trying to basically force an overreaction out of his opponent while just droning up that third. The Banshee is going to start working away on one of these roaches, picks off one. This is actually very nice, though, from viOLet. I mean, he's only got 18 roaches moving on in, but he's going to be able to get some decent damage done because the bunkers are obviously in the wrong position, but the tank is very well positioned.
Yeah.
Couple worker kills, but not too many.
These Hellions have been trying to poke around on the right other side of the map as well to get some worker kills, and they have got a few. They didn't get into the natural during all of this, but finding some damage at the third base, doing anything he can is all right. All right.
Oh, wow. 6 transfuses there on the drones, actually going to prevent both of them from going down. Wow. That's a lot of energy that went out to save a couple drones, but hey, it worked out in the end. The third base is being established now by MajOr, but these roaches are going to have something to say about that. I don't quite feel like there's enough necessarily for MajOr to move out. He could bite these, but at the same time, he doesn't know if there's more roaches being rallied across, so I feel like it's the safer option for him to lift, but he has to lift.
Yeah, and that burning down is going to cost a lot in terms of repairs, but overall, viOLet behind this was going for tunneling claws as well as burrow, so he's going to send roaches everywhere, or at least try to catch his opponent off guard. If he sees the spy, oh well, those 2 tanks.
Oh man. He's preparing for it with the missile turret, but it's not ready in time. He's not going to unburrow on the tanks, opting instead. Oh my goodness. We have viOLet going into the main. He is going to be able to... he sees it! Really nicely done there by MajOr. He sees the tiny little black line on the ground there, and that's going to completely deny this harass from viOLet.
Yeah, that was brilliant reactions overall. There are those 2 drops on the right-hand side as well. He knows that a lot of his opponent's units are out of position with those roaches being on the left-hand side, so why not try and boost in and get over there as quickly as you can do? And, well, the roaches are going to split themselves up this time, but there's 2 siege tanks there. He should be able to clean up a lot of these roaches. Maybe do some damage with the ones in the mineral line over here if they're from friendly fire, but remains to be seen.
Well, the drop comes into the main now, and there is a fair amount of forces here for viOLet, but they're all in the natural double medevac drops. This is going to be able to do a little bit of damage here before the units can actually get on over. The missile turret detects all of the roaches in the natural. 5 or so go down for free while still burrowed, and this is a really nice move here by MajOr. He will be losing these troops, loses both of the medevacs too, which is a little bit unfortunate there, not quite controlling those as well as he could have. But overall, MajOr has killed off about 250 more resources than his opponent has, and with the worker counts fairly even, this is still a very even game. But with the upgrades, they're definitely favoring our Zerg player.
Yeah, and in the end, it's actually a scary style to go up against as a Terran. This kind of ranged, just Roach Hydra style. It's not something you see as often as the standard Ling Bane Muta play, but if you get hit by a very, very strong macro Zerg with this kind of style, you can get run over. And +2 weapons is just about to finish up on these against only 1-1 of this bio. So the siege tanks are going to have to be in good positions. He's going to have to take his engagements right once Mr. viOLet gets maxed down.
What's really kind of funny about the Roach Hydra style of play is that generally you don't really see close engagements all too much. It's either the Zerg just stampedes over the Terran, or the Zerg just runs into a meat grinder and just dies. We have a very nice setup from MajOr so far. With the missile turrets, doing burrowed Roach harass has been very difficult for viOLet here. He looks poised to try again, but I don't really see him being able to get on in there. And the Hydras are going to pick off this Viking. That's really nice. The Viking's actually been granting a lot of map vision here. Looks like MajOr's going to try to take a fight here. He's got to be careful. viOLet may be trying to kind of hide his true numbers at these 10 burrowed roaches. Coming on into this third. What's he going to go for?
This could be scary. He actually sees them with the missile turret now as well, though, as they're trying to get on top of things. They took a lot of splash damage themselves whilst they were trying to go for the engagement down there, as that 2 siege tanks were doing a lot of work, but the command center fell very rapidly during all of this, and that Bioforce still doesn't have 2-2. So the Hydralisks do behind all of that. They don't want to be taking damage from the siege tanks, though.
I really feel like a very critical upgrade that's missing here is the Hydralisk speed. It's really nice to be able to dart in from the side like he did, pick off that third and be able to retreat, but he lost a little bit more than I feel like viOLet needed to, not having access to the speed upgrade. Those Hydras move a lot slower off creep, and he's actually almost misrallying half of his army up the ramp there, opting to change that just at the right time. And with no 4th CC ready yet, MajOr's forced to reconstruct that third from scratch, and this is a big, big blow to him. Now we have the Infestation Pit finishing up. This could be for Swarm Hosts, this could be for a Hive for Vipers.
Yeah, he has a lot of options available to him, basically, because he's controlling this game right now. As long as his 4th base goes undeterred, as long as he's able to shut down the drops on the left-hand side, which he has, to be honest with you. I mean, he hasn't lost any workers extra from this drop on the left. So he's looking good right now. But, you know, MajOr is getting +3 weapons, and as that slowly approaches, viOLet, hopefully for him, should be able to try and get the hive out and kind of get himself going as well. +3 weapons is very nice.
viOLet with a Burrowed Roach saw the move out of this. He's got Burrowed Roaches following the army, actually, here, or at least one. Just to make sure, it's kind of like an observer here. It's an invisible unit that's showing exactly where that army is. You got to be careful.
So fast. Look at it.
It really is. Like, Burrowed Roaches with tunneling claws, man.
Yeah, he just saw 2 medevacs lift off. If he truly did see that, then that's so valuable. And look at that. The hive's on the way now. So with the range style that's holding him very, very much so at bay, his opponent at bay, getting the hive out at this particular time against +3 weapons is fantastic for us compared to the normal like Ling Bane Muta style of, oh, do I really have enough gas here to be able to squeeze this hive in this particular moment? So he's doing all right with it.
Well, the drop on the left is coming on down here, and there's really nothing to defend this. The whole army is being forced to come on back, and the army is being forced to come all the way to the third, which, well, this drop won't do too much damage, but really what's going to happen is, oh, it does go down. But what's happened is that it's pulled the army out of position here as this double drop's able to come to the natural, but it is warded away. So MajOr's having a lot of trouble getting the drops down, and that's really one of the best ways you can deal with Roach Hydra is by just dropping them, because the lack of Mutalisks makes it a lot harder to shut down the drops. But viOLet has done a fantastic job with that so far.
And he's going to find this drop on the right-hand side eventually, pushing that away. Should be able to pick up and get out of there. But 4 Infestors are on the way as well, and jeez, if Fungals don't be a big game changer here, I don't know what will. There's so much damage and so much potential to just pin that army down. How are you going to be able to deal with this massive Roach Hydra swell if you can't move? It gets very, very difficult.
viOLet's continuing to use this one Roach at the front here for complete vision. The sensor tower does not reveal the Roach there. And this is just so, so helpful. He sees everything. And yeah. I mean, one of the biggest weaknesses of this style is that sometimes your army's caught out of position.
Oh, he's going to get this army sandwich. This is a brilliant little move here by viOLet, who separated up a good chunk of his army. 1 medevac's going to fall. 2nd one is going to fall very fast if it's not careful, but it does skirt all the way down to the bottom. And this did allow MajOr, though, to gain the vantage point on this 4th base. So Mr. viOLet's got to be careful.
Oh, big fungal on the Marines on the left-hand side there. And he does chain it. Those are all going to go down. Big fungals, but a couple of the infestors do go down as well. Trying to close the distance here with the Hydras onto that medevac. A lot of the bio is falling. A flank from the right is absolutely decimated by the tank line, though. And overall, this seems to be a bit of a wash.
Yeah, he needs to have a bit more energy on these infestors. The drop is still going on right at the back, though, as well here, though. So MajOr is making this work for himself, despite the fact that we're seeing viOLet go up in terms of supply. He's got 20 more Hydralisks and 5 Vipers on the way. With the Blinding Cloud and Fungals, a potential to chain with each other is going to be scary, but he's actually pushing in already here to try and get to the tank line. It was vulnerable on this left-hand side. A great move here by viOLet.
That was absolutely beautiful. The drop here is going to be shut down to the 3rd, and I just kind of want to reiterate what viOLet did there. He unburrowed 4 Roaches under the tanks, and the first volley went onto MajOr's own tanks, killing 1, but more importantly, allowing the rest of the units to converge onto those tanks without taking any fire themselves. Really nice move out of viOLet there to be able to clean up that tank line.
And now those Vipers have got a lot of energy. So this Bioforce, it's really adamantly where you want to be putting the Blinding Cloud on the siege tanks, or even pulling them into your army is also quite nice. But Blinding Cloud's quite important. He actually pulls a medevac towards him to get that. And he's kept the medevac count quite low. There's only 1 out right now, so the longevity on this bio is very low. He even throws Blinding Cloud down on this as well, and well, a lot of that bio just completely melted. GG for game number 1. viOLet will take it. A nice little fight there to start things off in this series.
A pretty good game there from MajOr. I have to say, one of the big game changers in that game, in my opinion, was just the beautiful utilization of the Burrowed Roaches. Sometimes you'll see players go for Burrowed Roach Harass. They'll just go into the mineral lines there with a couple of the Roaches and try to send 3 to every base, and then the missile turrets shut that down. But even though there were missile turrets in the right place, viOLet was not deterred. He had Roaches giving him vision. He had Roaches unburrowing on tanks, basically forcing friendly fire. Just really beautiful play out of viOLet there. Just a little bit of a step ahead of MajOr there, and MajOr's going to need to maybe change things up a little bit if he's going to win game 2.
Yeah, overall, I think, him losing that 3rd base.
Yeah, that was very crucial.
That's a pretty big blow to him. If he'd have, it's easy for me to say, like, if he'd have had his siege tank line a little bit further forward, then he may have been fine. But overall, you've got to account for the fact that, well, that army can come from a different side then, a different angle. He needs to bring all those units back to defend something like a push where the rocks had died at the 2nd base as well. So very, very difficult for a Terran to defend across all of that location against an army that despite not having Hydra speed at the beginning, like you'd mentioned, going into one of those engagements as well, it's still pretty mobile. Roaches, with the burrow especially, can get into some tricky places. So anyway, let's get into game number 2, as we have merry-go-round our map, and spawning up to the top right-hand corner, currently 1 game up, it is viOLet. And down to the south, it's our blue Terran, representing Root, it is MajOr. Major.
Now, something that's fairly interesting to note is that there are very, very few maps where Roach Hydra is kind of favored by players who don't kind of only play Roach Hydra. Like, you have your Roach Hydra staple people like Tefl, who play it almost every map, but most people will only bring it out on a couple of maps. Sejong is one of those. Merry-Go-round's another one.
Yes,
this is another map that we could see the same kind of style out of viOLet.
Yeah, we could. And when you're trying to establish a third base as a Terran on this map against a very, very quick max out of Roach Hydra, good luck, because that concave they're going to get is ridiculous on that location. So you have to have a very, very nice setup for defense there. MajOr, though, I think he can do it. I think he can. He's one of the best Terrans in that region. And as you said, even if he does lose this one, he still has an opportunity in the lower bracket. So there are 2 opportunities for people that have made it this far in the upper.
I feel like MajOr is one of those foreign Terrans that's often very overlooked. Like, you think of foreign Terrans, I mean, obviously I'm a little biased because I'm European, but like when I think of foreign Terran, I just kind of think of Happy and Koss. Yeah. And those are the names that jump out because MajOr, and Bunny, of course. But MajOr doesn't go to as many tournaments anymore. He's kind of faded out a little bit as far as how much visibility there is on him. So some people forget about him, but he's always right up there with the best foreign Terrans, and he's always right up there with being one of the most solid foreigners in general. And we have to remember as well, like, he was considered good enough by Team 8, which is now Jinnar Green Wings, to be picked up by a Kespa team for even a few months. And MajOr is definitely a player who is of the caliber that he can take this next game. And we have another pool first coming out of viOLet.
Yeah, and I've got to ask Penguin, considering that we're seeing Command Center first here from MajOr, is the potential that this could actually do something like get the SCV, for example, slow the Command Center down, considering the barracks is slow?
This is going to be very, very interesting because, of course, if that finishes up, MajOr can just lift it. I'm not entirely sure what the timings are going to look like, but if they get there, there is a possibility, a slim one, that they could even force a cancel, but I don't think that's going to happen here. I feel like this will finish, it'll be lifted up. The Lings, though, they will be able to delay that a little bit and force it to be lifted back into the main.
Well, they're on the way now, and unfortunately for MajOr, he's already scouting in the wrong direction, which is not necessarily something he wants to be doing here. Units will be on the way pretty soon, but those 6 Lings, they're actually taking a route that the SCV scouting normally wouldn't if it was going up that top right. So.
Oh, no, this is actually a big deal here because he doesn't need to build that supply depot for supply because that CC's finishing. He won't be able to deny the natural, but he might get into the main with these 6 Zerglings.
Yeah, there's only 1 Marine to be able to stop that, and he now sees it with that. And
he's going to try.
He's racing. Whoa!
He does. Oh, that SCV is smart.
And it's going to build quick enough for this Marine to keep him at bay for a long time. This is really, really close. He pulls them off to actually get them there, but in the end, I mean, that Marine did a lot of work before that supply depot was able to go down.
He's only killed 1 worker so far. This is still pretty decent for MajOr. He loses a second one, though, and that makes this pretty worthwhile here, especially if he gets a third one. I don't think he will.
I think the Queen got one as well back at home.
So yeah, 3 worker kills already. That's actually like a very, very nice start here for viOLet. And he's just going to drone up to his heart's content now. He's going to take about a 6 drone lead in a second.
But overall, I think that could have gone even worse for MajOr had he not thrown down that supply depot at the time he did. So really kind of good reactionary play there out of MajOr. That 1 Marine got a little bit done at least.
Oh, yeah, and of course he does have that natural up so much faster as well. He's going to be able to take advantage of the muling capabilities of that 2nd orbital command here as well. This is actually really cool. MajOr's been really active with his Marines in both games so far, and he's going to look around for some Overlords. viOLet's being a little more careful this time around. Last time he lost a couple Overlords to that squadron of 4 Marines roaming around. This time he's only keeping 3 of them out on the map, and he's keeping them in places where they can run away fairly easily. These 2 Marines are going to try to pick this one off. We'll see if they're able to get it. They might be able to run out of the low ground and pick it off once it's injured.
Yeah, because there's not really much room to actually retreat out here at all. So what's going to happen is he's going to have to arguably juke these pretty hard, but he's going to leave a Marine on the high ground. MajOr realizes that there is the potential for juking, and just going to hunt that down with just 1. And he's on his side of the map, so he's, you know, theorizing that it'll be okay against any kind of extra Lings that'll be around, but why would viOLet be making extra Lings at this point, unless he was going to be going for something pretty darn aggressive?
we do have another Roach Warren coming on up with no evolution chambers just yet. Now, usually we'll see the Evos come down around 7 minutes if they're going for a 1-1 kind of style. But with 8 Lings on the way, this could be for map control. This could be to clear out a couple of these Hellions. This could be for a Roach Baneling all-in.
Yes, it could, with that Baneling Nest now on the way as well. He's freeing up quite a bit of supply with those Overlords. So, but MajOr, look how greedy his build has been overall. It's 3 command center, double engineering bay. He's not going to have many units to be able to counteract this kind of play.
And viOLet knows how to pull off Roach Baneling attacks. If we remember back to 2011, 2012, the initial viOLet build was the first kind of really popular Roach Baneling all-in that everyone started doing against Terran. He initially made his name on the back of these kinds of builds. So, this is a bit of a Roach Baneling specialist we have here, and some nice creep clearing from these Hellions, but that's really not going to matter all too much, as this game is probably going to come down to whether or not this is held.
Oh, you are so good. Sending that one Hellion in there to actually spot those Roaches on Lings, but it may be too late anyway. There's 22 Lings on the way. He's going to try and throw down as many bunkers as he can behind all of this, but he has 6 Marines and 3 Hellions to fight this off. It's going to be difficult.
The way this has to go down, the problem is that there's only 3 Hellions. The way you usually want to be doing this is you want to have about 6 Hellions to try to focus down the Banelings when they spawn. You won't get them all, but you're sometimes able to get just enough that they won't be able to bust on through. Now, with this many bunkers, there is the chance that maybe this holds, but there's only 6 or 7 Marines of DPS here. 1 Marauder comes out as well. This is going to be really hard because this kind of build is almost a hard counter to the opening that we saw at MajOr. But the Widowmine burrows.
Oh, the Widowmine actually got a lot of damage there. 11 kills on that, but is it enough to be able to hold on? The second Widowmine does a lot of damage to the Roaches as well. And if he just keeps bringing the units into extra bunkers, rallying them back, that was really, really sick. Good job, Widowmines.
Those were absolutely hero Widowmines. 11 kills on the one at the front. The one at the back only has 3, but a couple of those were those last Banelings. And from here, there is no way that viOLet's going to be able to break this. And 1-1 finishing up now from MajOr. His starport's a little delayed because he needed to defend that, but he is in a phenomenal position.
Yeah, I mean, overall, viOLet realized how big those Widowmines were. They came out at just the right time there for MajOr, and he reacted in turn. He said, right, okay, quickly, third base, double engineering, double evolution chamber, everything I can. But the double evolution chamber was just scanned. So MajOr has got to be feeling very comfortable and comfortable enough to take his third base.
Yeah, now the biggest thing for MajOr is going to be trying to figure out whether or not this is going to be a Roach-centric play, which it will be, as we can tell from the missile attacks, or whether we're going to be seeing viOLet switch on into Ling, Baneling, Muta. Either way, like the same general bio composition is going to do fine. It's just kind of a question of whether or not he transitions into Thors. But honestly, MajOr's in a kind of position where if he doesn't make any mistakes, he should be free and clear to do a lot of damage here when these medevacs come out and put himself in a commanding lead.
Oh yeah, definitely. Especially since his 1-1 finished up a long time ago compared to the 1-1 that's on the way here for viOLet, but it's going to take a little bit of time to catch up. He's positioned Lings on the left-hand side just so that, I assume, a counterattack for when he knows his opponent's pushed out into the middle of the map, because he has to buy a little bit of time. He could be under a lot of threat here.
Yeah, and Ling run-bys are a great way to come back into the game if you're behind, but most Terrans that are playing safe will do exactly what we see MajOr doing. A bunker with a couple of supply depots in the front. No real way for Lings themselves to get through there without Banelings. And if you morph enough Banelings to break through that, it's not most likely to be a cost-efficient trade anyway. So MajOr is doing this very well. He's not taking any unnecessary risks. With his armory being that late, he has not kept the full upgrade lead. He's not an entire set of upgrades ahead anymore, but he's still a solid minute or so ahead of viOLet in upgrades. And that's going to make things very difficult, especially with a Roach-centric composition here, but MajOr's coming on creep.
Yeah, this is a lot of army that we have here for MajOr pushing forwards. There's tons of Roaches there, as sure, but they don't have speed. They don't have their 1-1 upgrades. This is the perfect time for MajOr to hit in terms of his upgrades, but army power behind all of that, the Roaches held on for a little while, so he's going to look for damage elsewhere. Some extra Roaches popped in the main, so maybe they can do some damage to this when he drops.
Yeah, he's going to need to activate that really nice focus fire there on... oh, actually, wow, that was actually a really cute little lift micro on that one Marauder that was very injured. Not a focus fire there. So MajOr, with some sick moves there, doesn't lose all too much, kills off a couple more Roaches. And right now, the thing is that viOLet is being forced to produce nothing but Roaches. He's stuck at 58 workers. That's not exactly a great economy for pumping Roach Hydra. You don't need that many workers, but you really want to be up at least around 10 more workers than this. And as a result, the superior economy of MajOr is allowing him to just continue to pump out Marines 8 at a time, a Marauder at a time, 3 more racks coming in as well.
I mean, how is... He's going to go up to like 40 roaches soon. He's actually going for the aggression here. Doesn't have an upgrade advantage. It's actually similar upgrades completely, 1-1 across the board, because 2-2 didn't finish up because the armory was so late, and he's actually doing quite a bit with these roaches, but is it going to be enough to break everything?
This is actually a great timing here from viOLet, able to hit when there's no upgrade disadvantage. There's a lot of medevacs here healing. Almost all of these units have their own medevac, but with the SCVs coming off the line, this should be held. But this is going to do quite a bit of damage here.
Yeah.
Not necessarily worthwhile, like cost efficiency-wise, but it's kept MajOr at home. It's kept viOLet from taking damage, and viOLet is just pumping more and more roaches. He's continuing to trade with the army, and he's relying on this sheer amount of rallied roaches to win him this game.
Well, there's 20 more. Well, there was 20 more in production just before. They're trying to rally over as quickly as they can, and the roaches, with a little bit of damage to this bio. Oh, there's a split.
Great splits there.
Yeah. Can he really continue this on, though? The bio is gathering traction, and
with the 2-2 finishing up, that's a great milestone here for MajOr. This really has to kind of end him right now. Not completely, but it has to continue to do damage. He needs to at least gut that third base. That mine does a little bit more damage once again. These 2 mines near the third are also nearing cooldown, but there's a lot of roaches moving on in here. With +2 attack almost finishing, this is what he needs to get done. He needs to do some economic damage here, but those mines are going to help so much once again.
Yeah, a lot of damage was done there. And again, it's you know, the majority of his army supply was in medevacs for a long time. He's got a lot more Marines out here, so once those actually get down there and help on out, it's going to do a lot of damage.
MajOr repair! MajOr!
Uh-oh.
Oh, that is absolutely worth all of this investment. And from here, that's going to stymie the income of our Terran player quite significantly. There's a lot of bio out here now, but the surround comes in with some of the reinforcing units here from our Zerg. And with an Overseer, those mines are picked off as well. There's a couple burrowed here, but is it going to be enough?
How does he keep getting these command centers overall? I mean, the first one, I could have understood, but this one, he's down to, well, he's got a few more Marines trying to rally on out, but viOLet is doing a lot of damage with this, despite MajOr being up in terms of supply.
A lot of it's in medevacs, like you said.
Yeah.
He's at 13 medevacs.
Yeah, he just can't really... now he's finally contending with it because of the upgrades really kicking in. It's not +2 armor on these roaches. It's only +1. And John's having to go back. They're really... Why were they over here? Was there a drop that I missed or something?
I didn't see one, but this is actually a big deal because we haven't actually seen that many roaches being pumped out recently. And as a result, we've got a 35 supply lead for our Terran player. viOLet's done a good job there, but for him to really establish an economic lead, he needs to be able to hold on to his own third after picking off the third of MajOr, and there's just not that many units here for him anymore.
Yeah, the bio has a lot of power behind it, and again, each of these units has his own personal medevac. Drones get pulled off the line, viOLet knows he's in a lot of trouble, despite the damage he did on the other side of the map, and without any roaches to his name, how are we supposed to deal with that? Let alone, I mean, the Widow Mines, which gets really good damage. GG for game number 2, as MajOr will tie up the series.
That's always the risk that you suffer if you're a player and you're going for one of those kind of really, really heavy pushes where you're going in, you're going to focus down a base, you're going to sacrifice a whole bunch of army to do economic damage. You need to make sure that you have enough army left over to not die to the counter push, because if you sacrifice a lot of damage to go for a main town center building like that, a town hall building, you need to make sure that you're not going to die to the immediate counter push, because of course that's going to kind of spur your opponent on to counterattack because they need to do some damage.
Yeah, of course.
Unfortunately, viOLet lost just a little bit too much and he wasn't able to hold on, which means that we get to go to game 3, Kalaris.
Yeah, I'm glad that we have a fight, a proper fight, not a clean sweep. As I'm very impressed at how MajOr hold on during all of that.
Yeah.
Again, gotta go back to those 2 Widow Mines at the very beginning of that Roach Bane all-in, because that Widow Mine, the specific one with 11 kills, did a lot of damage to keep him held on there.
He even survived in the middle of the map for a little while longer, focusing down a couple of roaches.
Yeah.
He was the MVP.
Yeah, good job, Widow Mine, good job. Sometimes you don't do your job, but this time you did, so...
And we're going to Overgrowth, which is another map where you can go Roach Hydra.
Yay! I like Roach Hydra, man.
I like it.
Really do.
Like, I really like seeing things that aren't particularly common, and like especially seeing players that are on the highest level doing that. Like viOLet, very, very good at this. And I mean, we have good players doing it every now and then, but seeing somebody like viOLet doing it is just at another level, and it's really, really cool to see. I'm really interested to see if he goes for it a third time.
Yep, so am I. I think he may do. I think he may do. There is potential that we could see just a Roachling Bane all in again, because
It's good on this map.
yeah, just in general, I think it's well, not really good on every map, but just a pretty good build.
Yeah, it is.
So I do like to see it as well, especially when it's executed really well. But again, Major's crisis management keeps being able to keep him alive. So overall, he's pretty good when it comes to crisis management.
Yeah, if I'm viOLet, I don't go for that build again, because really, the build that Major did is really the exact build you want to be going up against when you go for that build, and Major was still able to hold it because his crisis management was so good. So if I'm viOLet, I either go back to what I did game 1, or I switch it up and go for some Lingbane Mutaplay.
All right, well, let's get into things then. Overgrowth is our third map, 1-1 in this best of 5, as the winner of this will go on to the Intel Extreme Masters San Jose. So let's get into things on Overgrowth. As we have, spawning up to the top right-hand corner, it's our red Zerg, it is viOLet. And down to the bottom left-hand corner, we have our blue Terran representing Root, it's Major.
All right, so I'm interested to see whether we see Major do anything particularly differently, because Major, he's a very solid macro player, but he kind of, a while ago, he was known for 2-raxing a lot. And I'd kind of like to see that come out here, because that's also a build we see fairly often on Overgrowth.
And we just got the Overlord as well there. I'm always a little bit worried whenever I see something like that, but
I'm one of the people who goes up to 10, then the Overlord, then Extractor tricks. So every now and then when I'm casted, I hear casters going, "Oh, he's 10 pulling."
I'm like,
I do that as well. Like if I see
do
a
this
Zerg
as well, but
it's fantastic. Like the number of times on WCS Challenger casts where either Maddles or I has remarked on the 10 pool and then just seen an Overlord be put into the production tab is a little bit embarrassing. You'd think we'd have learned by now.
it's like a heart-sinking moment. I'm just like, geez, 10 pool, just do it. Just have fun. But they're like, no, actually, I'm just going to do the Extractor trick. And actually, you know, the Extractor trick, let's be honest, Zerg players out there, it makes you feel Gosu.
Oh,
You're
it
just
does.
Like, well,
it looks cool.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. It's numerically inferior to the 9 Overlord, but whatever. But I like the Extractor trick. It's cool.
I do it every game. It gives you something. It makes you feel like your APM spam has purpose.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess so.
We have a CC first coming out of Major once again, and we do have a bit of a change-up already from viOLet, not going for that pool first, instead opting for the hatchery play. Now, is he going to go for a gas before the pool? Nope, going for the pool instead. And behind this is already a very greedy build from Major once again. And you know what? Why not? You went as greedy as it goes last time around, and you held the 6 Ling pressure, you held the Roachbane follow-up.
Yeah.
That makes you feel pretty good if you're the Terran.
Yeah, and then you won the game.
And then you won the game.
Pretty sick.
You won the game against somebody in the qualifier who has a Korean flag next to their name on Liquipedia.
Yeah, and he's the only one in this qualifier, and
That he
so
is.
far you're standing toe-to-toe with him, so keep going, Major. You're doing all right. But that being said, again, we have to reiterate, viOLet is by far and away one of the biggest favorites for this qualifier at the moment. It was actually funny how he went out of the American champion qualifier. He basically fell asleep. And then I had to personally disqualify him.
Wow, that's got to be a great moment.
I was like, well, be it on my head if something goes awry, but it was overall completely understandable from all parties, and nothing happened, and I didn't get fired, which is the most important part.
Meanwhile, you're sitting here in Europe 6 hours ahead, and you're awake. Wow.
Yeah, I know.
viOLet needs to man up.
For the past 2 weeks, in European terms, my sleep schedule has been really weird. So, and I'm okay with this because Warlords Drano comes out tomorrow, so it's perfectly fine at midnight. And everyone's going to be like, Warlords Drano, you should be playing StarCraft. I'm like, all right, guys, I've been doing that for quite a while.
Dreampool,
just got
man.
back from BlizzCon. Yeah, Dreampool can... I played... Well, actually, I
Whoa.
haven't played any on Dreampool just yet, but that's an early Roach War.
We have a really early Roach Warren. This is really cool. What we'll sometimes see people do here, and Bly is a guy who likes to do this quite a lot, is we'll just see the player make about 10, 11 roaches, push across the map, and that's very heavy pressure, but it's not an all-in. They'll make a ton of drones behind it. They're not going to break in and kill you 99% of the time, but you're forced to pull so many SCVs. With good micro, they can focus down the SCVs that are repairing the bunker, probably not break through, but kill off a good 9, 10 SCVs in the process, which then evens it out. The big question now is how many roaches is viOLet going to make?
Well, 8 on the way so far. He had around access to about 12 lava overall during all of that. So there's the 9. Let's see if he goes for any more. The gas wasn't quite lining up for any more, so it's going to be drones to there. So 9 Roaches to start things off against, well, right now there's 2 Marines out, so it's not too great for him.
This is an early command center, but it's not the earliest command center we've seen out of MajOr. I think it's actually the latest 3rd command center we've seen. Now, with a Banshee coming up, this is on paper pretty nice, but the Banshee's not going to be there until long after the Roaches actually hit. So this is, and actually, wow, this bunker position is not somewhere where you can actually repair very easily.
Oh, and he takes the Marine out as well.
That's kind of disastrous, actually. This is really bad for MajOr. How do you mass repair this bunker?
The first time he sees those Roaches is right now, so has to get out there. The Lings are actually going to block that spike. Oh my god, he actually got that up in time. That could have been even worse, but overall, this bunker is going to fall pretty fast, and these 2 Hellions are not being able to do the business as quickly as they would like.
Not at all, and it's all down to the positioning of that bunker. Usually you can fit around 8 or 9 SCVs around it mass repairing, but that only fit 3 or 4. And from here, MajOr just has to desperately buy time for that Banshee to come out. It's still so far away, 40 seconds. He knows he's going to lose so much here. That 3rd CC is no longer building. He's already lost 6 workers here, and he's losing even more, up to 8 worker kills, 9 worker kills if he loses that at the front as well. This is already paying for itself many times over.
Yeah, he was more than willing to just sit around here and force cancellation on this 3rd command center because he knows that his opponent would have had to bring down extra units which would have been baited into these Roach Fire, and even got a few SCVs with that as well. So it's 27 workers against 41 right now as he's losing a lot of these Hellions. He's not going to get the cancellation on the 3rd base by the looks of things unless he just keeps focusing that for now. It's going to be very, very, very close. Yeah.
I don't think he's going to get it.
No.
Oh, he is going for that one last injured SCV. Actually gets a Hellion, too. 14 workers killed there. 3 Hellions, 2 Marines for 9 Roaches and 2 Lings. Absolutely worth it here.
Jeez. Makes a beeline for the counterattack as well. So.
It has to, but there's already 3 Roaches out on the defensive here. Double upgrade, or double Evos coming up behind this. 3 Roaches is not particularly many, but with an Overseer already coming out from the already finished lair, Queens are up, Spores are up. The Banshee shouldn't be able to do too much damage. The Hellions shouldn't be able to do too much damage. The Hellions are so softened up anyway.
Yeah, I was about to say, just so weak. So just a few volleys from these Roaches is done enough. Whilst the Queen, well, got 1 pot shot on those Hellions, but really needs to get on top of that Banshee, which unfortunately is going to die thanks to those 2 Marines as well. A bit faster than usual. But there's another Queen out right now, and the Roaches are going to push away these Hellions. So viOLet with a great little attack himself and a nice defense.
That being said, when all is said and done, there is a 3rd orbital up, and with 3 CC, it's a great way to come back into the game. And we have continuous Banshee production coming out of our Terran. He's got 2 on the map. He has a 3rd one building at the moment, and this is basically going to allow him complete map dominance until some form of anti-air other than Queens comes out onto the map, which is great because he knows he needs to be powering economy for the next little while, because otherwise he's just going to be even more behind. I mean, look at the upgrade timing as well. His eBays aren't even done, and +1/+1 is about halfway done here for viOLet.
Yeah, it's going to get a bit sketchy overall, as MajOr does have a little bit of a deficit to make up. Here's the Hydralisk Den on the way as well, and if he allows viOLet to just get completely set up across these 3 bases, which he almost is right now, he gets a few more kills there for his troubles, but he just sees 3 Banshees, so he has to be a bit careful. But again, the Roach Hydra play is going to hit really, really hard. It's going to hit really hard.
Yeah, this is actually kind of interesting now because these 3 Banshees are going to add out so much firepower against these Roaches. They're going to add in so much firepower if they go to harass the bases as well, that this becomes very, very difficult to deal with, even with 9 or so Hydras out, because 3 Banshees does so much damage. If you're out of position, you're going to lose an Extractor, a Queen, whatever's in range of those Banshees. On the other hand, there's just so much stuff on the map here for viOLet already. He's up to 66 workers, 13 Hydras on the way now. No 2-2 starting up, but he has such a gigantic upgrade lead that he doesn't really need to start 2-2 right away.
Well, these 3 Banshees are on the way into the main base, and that Queen is not going to be sticking around for too long.
Oh, the Hydras aren't turning around. Now they are.
If he gets the Hydralisk Den,
he won't.
For some reason, I was like, why is he going for
Oh, this
that
is really nice, though. If he gets out with all of them, which he... Wow.
Creep! Yeah.
Oh, that one poor Banshee.
He'd be creeping it, man. Those little Hydras with the little legs all of a sudden speed up.
She was bad luck Brittany.
Yeah, poor girl, poor girl. But anyway, I think as things go, there's a little bit of a supply block here for viOLet, which if he wasn't, he could have really, really powered out the units. He doesn't have too much gas to kind of compensate for that, but
These Banshees are already dealing out so much damage. The control on them has been so good. Of course, as soon as I say that, the Hydras close in. But he doesn't lose any of them, so still looking fairly okay with that. What do we have on the defensive here? A tank, a whole bunch of stim bio, but no combat shields, no 1-1. And the tank is in such an awkward position. This third is going to take at least a little bit of damage here.
Yeah, it needs to move up slowly.
Oh, man, he's focusing it. The Master Pair comes down, though.
Nicely done. Needs to get out of there. Just he's losing a few of the workers here, as well as some of this army, as he does have 1-1 during all of this against the lack of 1-1 on this bio. So the Hydralisks, are they really going to do a whole lot against those two tanks? I don't think so. He kind of has to back out. He's going to get some bio at the front, but other than that, two siege tanks out of range. I'm surprised MajOr was taking that fight further.
Yeah, he needs to really be baiting those Hydras in, and he is going to be able to. Trying to focus down some of the weaker Hydras there. Nicely done. Overall, viOLet's getting the absolute most out of these final Hydras, which is very important because he doesn't have speed, so they would be chased down anyway. So I like that he's trying to kill off what he can.
True. Yeah, it's a good point. Speed's only halfway done here. He's getting 2-2 himself, though, and as that extends forwards, more and more roaches being produced. So it's, phase one of this assault with 1-1 against his opponent's lack of 1-1 is complete, but here comes phase two, basically. Once that +2 weapons and +2 armor's finished up, are the siege tanks going to be in the right locations? We'll find out in just a bit.
Now, phase two of this attack is actually, I think it'll be fine for MajOr because he didn't lose any tanks in that first engagement. He's sitting at a very comfortable 4-tank margin. If he gets a 5th tank up in time, that'll be really, really nice. Even 4, though. I feel like this sort of phase 2 attack shouldn't be able to break through. After that, though, we should be seeing viOLet going for a Hive and Vipers, which is really what was able to tip the scales in his favor on King Sejong Station, and finally what won him the game in the end. And I think that's probably what we'll see as his sort of big assault here as well. But we have a 2-pronged attack coming on in here with a bit of harass over to the right, trying to bait the bio out of position so that this big force can go up. And it has kind of worked. He's pulling the tanks with him, though.
That was actually brilliant. A brilliant move. He just revealed that slightly, and now he's going to come in from the left-hand side here. Even on the right, there is still a little bit of harassment being done from those units, but there is the siege tank there to try and hold that off. The siege tanks, overall, were trying to hold the line, but this army has just gotten straight into the natural and probably is going to get that CC so fast. Jeez.
MajOr being pulled out of position by that little harassment unit, and from here, he's down 70 supply. The tanks are continuing to shell away, but one of them does get picked off as the roaches close the distance, and this is going to be so difficult to recover from, even once this army is cleared on out. There's no 4th CC to replace that with. Main is mining out, I guess, but overall, this has been a fantastic trade for viOLet. He can absolutely afford to do this.
Yeah, the story of this series from Game 1 to Game 2 to Game 3 has been very, very similar overall. It's just that Game 2 had that haphazard extra chapter in the early stages where that Lingbane Roach play didn't go too well. But it's just been losing CC, losing CC, losing CC. Thankfully for him in Game number 2, he had enough power to get back on the offensive himself. But in this one, I don't think he's going to have it here, Penguin.
No, he's sitting so far behind in supply. He's down 70 supply. On the plus side, which sounds kind of weird, he's down about 40 workers, which means that he does actually have only a 40 supply deficit in the army. But he's at an upgrade disadvantage. The tanks are unsieged and close to creep. The Hydras close the distance. GG is called. And viOLet will qualify for IEM San Jose.
After maybe one more map because it's best of 5.
Oh, it's a best of 5. viOLet will probably qualify for IEM San Jose, even if he loses this series.
Well, to be fair to you, it's normally a best of 3 in these kind of qualifying deciders. It's just in the American qualifier that it is best of 5 because the Americans do enjoy being
We even went over this like 4 times for the broadcast.
It's fine.
It's 3:45 a.m. I have an excuse.
Oh,
We're
God,
good.
it is 3:45 a.m. Oh, God. All right, anyway.
It's okay. Warlords of Draenor comes out in 20 hours.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. I've got my Horde hoodie on, ready for things. I've got my Overwatch shirt on because that's not out for a while anyway. BlizzCon swag. And obviously my StarCraft pants on. You can't see those just yet.
And your BlizzCon pin, too.
That is the coolest thing.
It really is.
Isn't it fantastic?
I'm kind of jealous.
I'm so proud. It's like my first BlizzCon ever. I'm like, I'm just going to wear this pin every day.
For the rest of your life.
For the rest of... Even if I have to pin it into my skin, which is a bit brutal overall, but...
When you take a shower, since you don't wear clothes in the shower, presumably you have to just pin it into your skin during your showers.
So. You know, I have a necklace that I haven't taken off for like 15 years, right?
That's pretty cool, actually.
Yeah.
What is it of?
Symbol of the dragon, because I was born in the year of the dragon.
That's pretty cool.
I haven't taken it off for that long.
See, you're born in the year of the dragon. That's pretty badass.
I know, man. I know. Dragons are cool.
Dragons are really cool. Any fantasy novel that doesn't have dragons in it is not a real fantasy novel.
You know what's even better? I was born in the year of the dragon, and I'm a Leo in this thing. So I'm a.
So you're a lion dragon.
I'm a lion dragon. I am like the coolest combination you have ever heard.
You're
of.
basically a dragon that is the king of the jungle.
Yeah, there's the other people that were like born in the year of like the rat, and they're like, I don't know, a snake or whatever. It's like, that's not as cool. There is actually a rat snake now that I think about it that actually exists. There probably isn't a lion dragon in real life, but
I would assume not.
No.
Lion dragons, I guess, would be
fairly rare.
Relatively similar to griffins, but like more badass.
Yeah, they would be. They'd be pretty cool, man. They'd be pretty cool. All right, we're getting into game number 4, as you could probably hear by the countdown.
Yes.
As we ramble about dragons, because dragons are awesome. So, you know, I say that, and everyone's like, you're a 13-year-old kid. Haha, dragons, oh, they're so cool. But I also like this guy, this Reaper guy from Overwatch, who was basically a shadow guy with guns. And that's like a 13-year-old
I think I know which one you mean.
Yeah, you probably do. All right, let's get into game number 4. Here for the Intel Extreme Masters San Jose qualifiers, as we have spawning up to the top right-hand corner, currently 2 games up in this best-of-5 series against 1. It is viOLet, and then down to the bottom right-hand corner, it's our blue Terran representing Team Root, needs to win this game to keep himself alive in the winner's bracket. It is MajOr.
Okay, I want to note something quickly. We're on Catalina. If there ever was a map that you don't want to go roaches on, it's probably Catalina. Oh my god, he's 10-pulling Kalaris, and it's actually happening.
Glorious. He, like, listened to our previous
He's
guests.
actually stream cheating with, like, 5-minute delay.
Be like, well, okay, then if you really want to do that, I'm not sure how well that's going to work out for you. But in the end, this is cool, because every single game, what has MajOr done?
He's gone CC first. I think he may have gone Rax first on Sejong, but at least in the last 2. And honestly, it is Rax first.
Well, whatever then. Oh,
okay.
Dear.
Okay, it's just a double extractor trick. I was wondering if he was going to keep one of those extractors for gas. This is bad. This is bad news bears for viOLet. I mean, I guess if you're viOLet right now, you're up 2-1. He's got to be fairly confident. And I mean, if MajOr does go for that CC first, which he's done 2 games in a row. I mean, Catalina's a map where you do go CC first fairly often, but this is going to be really sad for viOLet, I think, unless MajOr really makes a mistake.
Is he sending out this drone to try and block a second supply depot? Were it to not be a command center first? Is that the reason here? Why this is moving out?
Maybe.
Because the Overlord on the left-hand side already sees he's not spawned there, right? So he knows where he's spawned.
This is really weird. I'm not entirely sure what this is for. It could well be for that. It could also be like, oh, look, I'm drone scouting. It's definitely not going to be something else coming across the map in the next little while.
If he sat there and just blocked a second supply depot...
Oh, he wants to.
I don't think he's going to get it. It's going to be... Oh, why didn't he just... You know...
This is...
You know...
What do you do now? Do you just, like, chill with the Lings until the Reaper's gone, or...?
You just make a hatchery in the base, man. Screw it. Just...
And then make roaches.
What? Where are the Lings going?
I think they are going to wait until the Reaper leaves.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, because you don't want to keep your Reaper sitting there killing a gas geyser, right? Oh, he sees it, though.
Yeah, exactly. He saw it.
Man, the timing on this has all been fairly bad, to be honest, by viOLet. And he's going to try to get something done. He's going to chase down that worker for a while. One of the Lings is already down.
Why did he let those in? He could have jumped up.
Oh, this is cute.
Oh, the
no, it's not going to work, but...
He's like, I'm here for combat. Does the drone... Oh, the drone got the SCV. Okay, that's fine.
Hero drone.
I'm okay with this.
The Lings were useless, but... Oh, actually, that Ling got an SCV too.
Apparently, yeah. I'm still okay with this. Drone killed an SCV. Don't see it every day.
Yeah.
Okay.
The drone is the MVP of the game. Doesn't even matter what else happens.
Sure, man. Sure. That's acceptable. But all in all, as MajOr stabilizes and gets his command center on the way, did that really do enough?
No, it didn't do enough. I mean, viOLet's not dead by any means, but that puts him at a severe deficit going on in this game. And this is either the point where you say, I'm so far behind I need to all in, or it's the point where you say, I'm so far behind that an all in won't work. And these Reapers are doing so much damage already. One worker kill, that one will probably make a gas, but good pull on the drones there to make sure that they minimize damage.
That was a nice defense overall.
Yeah.
Because he could have lost a lot more, right? These Reapers
he only lost one, wow.
A really nice time, but third command center's on the way for MajOr. He's playing this as he likes to play it.
And this is a much faster command center than the last game. It's a good 30 seconds faster. Because he knows, like, you just 10-pulled me and I saw you have no gas. What are you going to do? Mass slowing all in me?
Yeah, exactly.
Bring, like, 8 queens across the map?
Gonna be totally fine. And these Reapers have healed up, looking to put on some more pressure again themselves. So viOLet here is kind of stuck. This Queen's gonna take a little damage as well. Good pullback here.
The micro.
Oh, what? Sneaky little micro. Needs to run away though now.
God, the micro on those Reapers. MajOr has really good Reaper micro.
Yeah, that was nice. And he's bringing the Hellions along with this as well. So the problem becomes even worse. It gets really exacerbated by the fact that that Queen's kind of low against these Hellions and Reapers. He's even making more Reapers because he knows the advantage he's in. Look at this.
Yeah, and this is so important as well because in this position, viOLet needs to be spending all of his money on workers. He can't be affording extra queens, which is why this is so helpful as we go into this next little phase of the game. And until that ling speed is done, there's really no answer except these 2 queens to this harassment. And as a result of needing both of them on the low ground, there's no injects on the high ground.
That's so sick that he actually made an extra Reaper. I mean, there's going to be quite a lot of lings out very soon, but as you say, it's taking a lot away from drones during all of this. And Queens, did they trade positions? That's nice here from viOLet.
I like it when players do this.
Yeah, it's a small thing, but if it gives you that little bit of extra defense whilst you're also getting your injects down, I like it as well.
All right, so we do have continuous Hellion production. He's going up to 8 now, and I like this because, as you said before, why would you stop? And what does he have to deal with this? Speedlings. How good is the micro going to be from MajOr? Very good. Good enough to really pick off about half of those. Moving on forward, that Queen is very, very low. More Hellions coming in for the party, and there is almost nothing left here on the ground for MajOr.
Yeah, GG. Wow, MajOr ties it up 2-2, and in this best of 5, I'll be honest, as much as I like MajOr as a player and as much as I think that he is a strong competitor, I was expecting viOLet to take this quite handily, but in the end, going to a game 5, I'm happy. I'm happy, man.
Yeah, I mean, the games have been a little bit weird. We haven't really seen anything particularly standard. I mean, Roach Hydra, we've seen standard play for Roach Hydra, but anytime you actually have Roach Hydra, it's kind of hard to call that standard play versus Terran. So nothing particularly standard yet here from viOLet, but viOLet opting for the risk there. And just when you go for a 10-pull versus Terran, that is as coin flippy as you can get. And he lost the coin flip. I mean, you go into that knowing that there is a chance you may just build or to lose, but viOLet's being forced to play the final game on Foxtrot Labs. That's such a good Terran map.
Yeah, and we're going to get into this in a second. If MajOr's able to take a first spot over viOLet, then all right then. All right, Terran's doing all right at the moment. I'm okay with this. He's done very well for himself in this series so far. He's got some good crisis management. He's shown that, and he's able to react so well as well. I mean, just the addition of an extra Reaper while saying, okay, you're really on the back foot here. Just continue making Hellions, even mix in another Reaper during all of that to go up to 3. All that little extra firepower over there really, really fast. So nice.
Yeah, it's really MajOr showing that he's really able to read the situation absolutely perfectly.
All right, so let's get into game number 5 then. As we have Foxtrot Labs, our map. Spawning down to the bottom left-hand corner, it is our red Zerg. It is viOLet. And up to the top right-hand corner, it's our blue Terran representing Team Root. It's MajOr.
All right, so these spawn locations, the first thing to note is that we will probably not be seeing the gold bases come into any kind of action unless it goes very late game.
Yeah. They're kind of hard to take. Normally you would see, if it was the other spawn positions, Terran able to take those a little bit quicker than the Zerg because it's along the point that they want to put pressure on.
It's happening! It's Turax time. Maybe. It could still be a proxy Reaper, but
Could be, yeah.
I would put my money on Turaxing. Okay, it's just an extractor trick, not a gas first from viOLet. And okay.
And he's sending it in such a way as to avoid that Overlord going through the middle because it's always going to go through the middle.
I'm actually feeling Reaper. I think he's going to put it down here, make 1 Rax, and then jump the Reaper on up.
With the position that's in, I mean, why would you send a double barracks down here? The Marines would have to walk around so far. So this is almost definitely Reaper from this position.
This is such a nice map to do this on. There's so many cliffs for basically endless amounts of utility with the Reapers. And I mean, it's not as good in this spawn as it is in the other spawns, but there's still a lot of abilities to abuse those cliffs. But we have a spawning pool first again coming out of viOLet. And this is going to allow him to get the queen up. It's not going to allow it to be done quite in time. Where's the gas?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking as well. I'm looking at his base thinking, what is going on? That is very, very late. Is he going to go factory down here or something? That'd be too late as well.
Where is he going? Where is this SCV going?
What is going on? What is this?
I'm so. Is he just scouting at this SCV?
Ah, he's making it look normal, right?
I guess he's just scouting at that SCV. This is so strange.
It's
Is he
so
gonna make
late.
a Marine out of there to go Overlord hunting and then go Reaper? He's lifting it. You cheeky boy. You cheeky boy, Major. Is he going to build a bunker with this? Oh, that Overlord only saw the scouting SCV, not the second SCV. It's a one-racks bunker rush, Kalaris.
Okay. All right, then. Whatever.
This is so weirdly... I almost want to say this is so dumb it's genius.
You know what's funny about this? Is that surely if he'd have gone spawning hatchery first, he would have had the vision on this right-hand side and this wouldn't have been as strong. Because now the element of surprise is really going to hit him hard.
Although this is like I was actually talking about this in the with Maddles at the show match I cast earlier. There's a guy I play on ladder sometimes. What he'll do is he'll bring 2 workers. He'll sacrifice one in the mineral line. Like he'll let you kill it so you think you're safe, and then your hatchery will finish and you'll have 4 cannons in front of your base. This is the equivalent of that.
Oh my god. Major's actually going to make this work. This is really scary. He doesn't have he has a spine in the main base going down. Sure that he'll have to trundle down here quickly, but the SCV was saved. It got in a bunker, and there's an extra bunker on the way. He's having to make extra spines. His queen doesn't have really too much firepower. The only thing that's really going for viOLet is that because it's not 2 barracks, any Marine that dies is catastrophic.
Oh my god.
2 just died for
He's
really
blocking the... Oh, okay. That was kind of cute. But, I mean, overall, this is... I mean, it's a cute build, but...
It's nowhere near as good as it would have been if it was
No,
second
he's
barracks.
lost 2 Reapers already as well. I mean, or 2 Marines.
Yeah, those 2 Marines dying was
But on the other
really
hand,
bad.
it's also only 1 rack, so it's not particularly heavily committed either. And he's forcing a lot out of viOLet. This is not something I've ever seen, so it's really hard to call whether or not this is worthwhile.
The repair can still continue on from some of these the SCV at the back at least, but not for too long. There's 2 spines as well as 3 queens going to be shelling away at this pretty soon.
Although, I mean, we've already seen 1 completed spine crawler, no mining at the natural, and we have a follow-up with just another expansion. There are Lings attacking the front here, but there's a full wall there with the factory, and with a couple of SCVs pulled off the line to repair, they will not be able to break through, but they will be able to force a lot of resources into this repair.
It's going to take a while. If you can get some queens here during this, that'd be nice, but he actually focuses down the SCV, denying any more repair on these bunkers, and he's even mining from the left-hand side of this natural, so viOLet really making the most of his situation.
Although that's getting dangerously low on health. There's no transfuses available.
Yeah, these spines should surely be able to deal with this.
I would hope so, but it will be close. He's focusing the queens. He wants guaranteed damage, but he's not even going to get the queens. The really good Micah there from viOLet. Even picks off a Marine on the retreat.
Nice attempt. Nice attempt.
I have to say, that there hasn't been a single normal game. This has been a cool series, and a cute build from Major. That was weird. Oh, this hurts as well. He's going to lose all these Marines.
Yeah, poor little guys. Well, oh well. Your sacrifice, was it in vain?
Oh, actually, he will save them with the Hellions. Maybe at least 1.
That's nice, at least. Let's see. So 31 workers against 25. Major should be able to fly over to his natural very soon, thankfully, because the Hellions are out and it shouldn't be too much damage done.
On the other hand, the Hellions aren't really going to be able to do too much because there's... So, I mean, honestly, though, this hatchery is so susceptible to drops later on. I almost would have liked for the lair to come down on the natural hatchery to give it extra health.
I like that. I like that. Because even a Banshee could actually, if he goes up to the starport, could actually just fly in there and start doing something itself. Of course, you've got to be a little bit scared of trying to do that. Maybe there's transfuses available and you don't get it, and then all those Banshee shots have been in vain. But for me, if I was the Terran, screw it, man. I'd go for it. I'd just be like, well, Banshee, go.
Yeah, I would probably as well, but on the other hand, I am Gold League Terran, so that might be why. This is going to be another Roach play out of viOLet. He really likes what I like to call the Tefl style, so I guess we're going to be seeing more Roaches. Meanwhile, the 3rd CC is nearing completion for our Terran player. I mean, it's not that late, all things considered. Extra Rax is coming down. Stim has started on up, and everything's a little later than it would be for Major, but it's also later than it would be for our Zerg player here for viOLet. So overall, these Hellions cannot do anything. He can try to scan and get that tumor if he wants, but...
viOLet's freeing up a lot of supply here. 4 Overlords. Is he actually going to produce... Well, I guess he has to produce some Roaches, right, to deal with these Hellions, because
at
they're
least
kind of
a few.
annoying. But anything
6
more
sounds
than
good. The big question now is, does he go for a big 2-base timing with 1-1 and roach speed, or does he go for...
He could.
I mean, he should go for a third hatchery either way, even if it's just for larva and as a sort of backup plan without saturating it.
I think he might push with this.
I think, yeah.
Yeah, and then go for a third hatchery behind it, because then it establishes himself quite a lot of map control with the fact that he's putting on the pressure with the roaches.
Something worth noting as well. Oh, he's going to try to run by. This is not going to be good for Major.
He's going to lose all of these hellions for very, very little. Maybe 1 or 2 drones killed.
Nope.
Not even that?
He gets 1. 1. But overall, that was not worthwhile at all. And that is so important because that cedes entire map control over to viOLet. On the other hand, he gets the important scouting information of seeing this moving out, of seeing that there's a large number of roaches coming across, 7 more in production. This third hatchery is not likely to be saturated for a while. These roaches are going to be reinforced by the 7 more, and we could see more into the production tab, although there are 6 drones now on the way.
And I was just about to mention, the scary thing about this map here for Major is that these rocks exist, so he has to add on extra bunkers in a position where he doesn't necessarily want to put them on, because now viOLet can start to break down these rocks, and these bunkers are going to be very, very close to finishing as these break down. Be close.
I'd kind of like to see him put the Marines close enough to try to pick up a couple of the Lings, but
nice.
Overall, this is going to be really difficult to hold. There's a lot of units here. The medevacs aren't out quite yet. Stim is done, though.
Oh, those bunkers finish up just in the nick of time. Jeez, but 3 extra Overlords on the way here, freeing up more supply, droning up onto that third base now as well.
Oh god, raise the depots. Raise the depots, Major.
There's only 1 bunker there. I think overall, if he'd have actually had a higher ground vision with that Overlord, but it did end up dying now, it wouldn't have been too bad to try and cross the T of these bunkers, considering their positioning, but overall, I don't think those roaches are going to be able to bust through now.
Yeah, with the mines coming out, with a couple medevacs here, the roaches are not going to be able to break on through. There's not a huge number of them. We are sitting at only 16, which is a lot, but it's not enough to break through medevacs, stim, and a couple mines. Meanwhile, on the other hand, the Hydra Den is done. We have range starting up again first, and 2-2 coming up as well. So the upgrade lead stays with viOLet this time around. He's already done a good job saturating that third, getting himself up to 66 workers, which is basically the count that he's been stopping at in almost every game.
Not exactly the most aggressive creep spread here from viOLet. There's only 3 creep tumors that are currently active, so would like to see that be pushed out a little bit further. He's only got 3 queens, so 1 for each hatchery for a lava inject, and that's about it. So it's not going to get too aggressive with his creep spread anytime soon. It's going to be up to the Hydralisks to waddle over there without speed up until range is finished, and that's going to take a while. So just for now, the 2-2 timing could be nice, but again, it'll take a little while to get going.
What we're going to see for the first time is we're going to be seeing Roach Hydra against tankless bio here. Only bio medevac, which it's going to mean he's going to have more bio, but at the same time, the lack of the tank is going to be a bit harsh. Maybe Major's deciding to do this because viOLet's done a very good job staying out of tank range. This drop here is going to be seen by about 50 Overlords. viOLet's making sure he sees everything coming towards that natural because it's such low health, still less than, almost less than 400 there, only at 420. And overall, Major's done a good job establishing his third. He's got a very healthy worker count himself. It's going to be hard to fight this 2-2 army with 1-1 and no tanks, though.
Oh, it's so nice as well. The fact that he has Overlord speed to just get them out of positions if these Marines try and drop around and start killing them off means that his defensive position is very, very nice. Even that Overlord gets away. And this drop is going to get pushed back. Army supply 116 to 86. We're seeing this 2-2 play come to fruition very soon.
2-2 is about to finish. More roaches on the way to reinforce. They are, of course, faster moving and take less time to build than Hydralisks. This is not a scary-looking force of bio, Kalaris.
No, it's not. The Marine's going to have to do a lot of work here, a lot of work. There's about 50 of them. He's trying to drop some scouts to kill off some of this creep. But overall, this is a really hard position for Major to defend because it's so wide open. His concave's great, and he loses so many workers during that. Oh, yeah, you don't want to fight in that position. He's forced to pull up the ramp here. This is a better place for Major to try to fight from. His own concave's not that well set up, though. He is not... Yeah, he's going to survive with the command center for once, at least. The drop over on the left-hand side, not really doing too much. viOLet cannot push up this ramp against this. It's basically a death choke. Meanwhile, the drop comes on in here to the third base. Going after the spine, the Queen has transfuses. 2 Marines die for free, essentially.
this isn't really going to be able to do too much, I feel.
Yeah, he needs to buy himself some time because he needs to set his economy back up. Does MajOr?
Ah, but 2-2 is almost done for MajOr. When that finishes, it's going to help a lot. But it's not like he can push down this ramp either. There's a concave if viOLet pushes up. There's a concave if MajOr pushes down.
Yep. This drop actually did okay for itself. Got a few overlords in the process. Infestation pit's on the way now, though, as viOLet's, well, saying basically, I'm containing you. And I'm containing you, and if you're on your side of the map, how are you actually going to put any pressure onto me? So he's finding time to get his infestation pit hive.
This is so nice. This is so nice for MajOr coming out from the side. The concave is not set up properly here from viOLet. So many of the units not attacking at the beginning of this fight. Great concave for MajOr, but some of the Marines are stuck in the back, not really doing what they need to be doing. Is he going to be able to clear this up? It looks like he absolutely will. And MajOr, coming around to the surprise flank, cleans up that army, and with a fantastic trade, forces viOLet down to having lost 2,300 more resources than the Terran player.
Yeah, and I've got to be honest, considering viOLet was the one that actually opened up those rocks earlier on, I'm surprised he didn't have like a unit, just one or two, to over there to spot that something like that was going to occur. Because as it did, we saw the army supply plummet for viOLet because it just doesn't do that well against equally upgraded bio in that position.
This is actually really, really bad for viOLet. He's sitting on only 12 roaches. That's not that much to tank for this Hydra force. I mean, Hydras, as we like to say so often, are essentially glass cannons. They die so fast despite their fast DPS. It's a good concave at the bottom of the ramp there.
MajOr's doing a lot of damage here with this Bioforce remaining. It's going to be pretty even with eventually MajOr coming out on top. And he gets on top of the infestation pit that's going to lose pathogen glands as well. So the three infestors popping out are even going to be able to fungal in time to try and buy him some time to keep him alive in this game.
And MajOr is pushing forward. GG is called. Wow. MajOr! I may have jinxed viOLet when I said he advanced 2 games ago. Wow, what a sick play. What a sick series out of our Terran player from Mexico.
Yeah, that was pretty impressive. So MajOr is our first player to qualify on to the Intel Extreme Masters San Jose from the American qualifiers, aside from Polt, who was the American champion. So 2 Terrans from the American region overall. So really, really nice start for the Terrans.
Really, that's very, very true. And speaking of Terrans, we are going to be, I guess, kicking it to a short break. But over on the base trade stream, QXC is leading against Scarlet in another qualifying match, 1-0.
Oh, wow, wow, wow.
That is an hour-long game on Nimbus, guys, so go check that out for sure.
For game number 2, jeez. QXC has been really stepping it up recently.
Is that Thor drops? There's Thor drops, guys.
There's
Thor drops. Go watch the stream.
There's a lot of Ultralisks and Broodlords as well.
This is looking cool.
What a crazy game.
All right, yeah. Anyway.
All right, well, join us after the break, guys, when we'll be dropping down to a lower bracket game as we play that out. And then down there is 1 spot for the Intel Extreme Masters San Jose, obviously, as well. QXC and Scarlet is currently going on, which is another spot. So join us after the break for more StarCraft action.